To Florida, where the Sunshine State is one of the first states to regulate AI data centers. Governor DeSantis signed a bill designed to protect people from footing the bill for these data centers. It requires tech companies to pay for all utilities they use and restricts where those facilities can be built. Right now, Florida has no large-scale data centers, but the governor says he wants to prevent problems that other states are already facing.
You should not pay one more red cent for electricity because of a hyperscale data center as an individual. That's just not right for the most wealthy companies in the history of the world to come in and have individual Floridians or Americans subsidize these hyperscale data centers.
Now, this was the only AI-related bill to pass this year's legislative session. Most of the new laws take effect July 1st.